Basically, malnutrition is the lack of one or more supplements within your body, right? So one or more macronutrients, actually called macronutrients within your body. And the statistics are really, really bad. So today, about 2 billion people in the world have one form or the other of malnutrition.
There's only about 8 billion people, so that's a lot.
So
that's a lot.
2 in every 8 that you meet.
Yeah, a quarter basically, yeah.
And literally 45% of all child deaths
are
as a result of malnutrition. So it's quite dire. I don't know whether you guys remember those days when you'd see, those days are now gone, but when I was growing up, you'd see a lot of women with like goiters, and men too.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of like goiters and things like that, right? That was lack of iodine, right? So that's why then salt is now mandatory fortified. So before, it wasn't, mandatory fortification was not something that was thought of, and a lot of governments still don't do it. Not a lot of people have. There's still a lot of governments that are still not doing it. So they say that we are very, very off track in our fight against hidden hunger, which is literally the lack of, it's malnutrition across the world. So you'd find a person and they're quite obese, but then they are highly deficient.
I was about to say that, because when you think malnutrition, you think like traditionally growing up, it was starvation, kwashiorkor, etc. But now we are eating, but our food is not nutrient rich. So you could be eating enough, but not enough nutrients, right, are getting absorbed.
Exactly. You don't have enough diversity in your diet to be able to give you everything you need. And it's as a result of many things, right? So one, our soil is very eroded. Let's start there. Like we are farming so much, we're using so much pesticides, so much, like there's so much we're doing on our soil that it's so eroded, and that's where the nutrients come from. So sometimes right from source, we already, there's already like a problem there.
Yeah.
And then now the food has to be refined. It has to go through a processing. So the ugali we eat, it goes to the miller, and it's processed. And now they usually they have to remove the husk, because the husk has underneath it is a lot of oil content, and the oil content makes the flour go rancid very fast.
Okay.
So
I'm sure the husk also has nutrients.
Exactly. It's nutrient rich.
Okay.
Right. So we're already removing a bit of that to process it. But in addition to that, we really like our ugali white.
Yes.
Right. So if you see a little bit of color.
Akimi, I'm guilty of that, honestly.
Yeah, so the whiter it is, the more refined it is.
And the less nutrients it has.
Exactly.
But ugali easy kupika, so you're thinking you want the white one, yeah. Okay.
Exactly. And so usually what happens in processing, nutrients are lost in processing. So what happens is when you then fortify the foods, fortifying is deliberately adding back the nutrients that were lost. And sometimes also some other, you add on other kinds of nutrients, not just the ones that were lost. And why fortification is such a great thing is because it means that for a country or for a certain demographic, you don't have to change its eating patterns. You don't need to change its dietary preferences. I mean, imagine if I came today and let me give an example. I had a friend who visited from Congo, and he said, this ugali of yours, you guys, either you use it to block those potholes, or you put some wine in it. Or you put some wine in it.
Yeah.
So you can't say that. So you have to meet the population where it's at. So for us, we consume a lot of ugali. We eat a lot of wheat flour. We have oil. Everybody cooks with oil. And now we are going into rice as well. So you fortify what most people are eating. So you're able to reach a wide demographic with the nutrients that they need, as opposed to asking them to change their dietary preferences. And sometimes they can't even afford it, right?
That's very true.